cheers to episode 62.
Cheers. Episode 62.
Cheers. Told you you'd get it. The Blue Moon Haze.
Oh.
A great
not
can.
The same one that I had. I'm drinking
got
water.
Water?
Truly watermelon cucumber margarita style.
It's blurred out, bro.
I wasn't showing you, but I can if I need to. But no free ads.
I'm just gonna get the elephant out of the way here. I'm standing up this show. I don't know what got into me, but I'm standing
You're
up.
standing?
What's the card of the week?
I'm pulling a Pat McAfee.
Yeah, we should start with that card.
There's no card because I'm standing, so it can't be in the shot. So this flopped hard.
Similar to you giving up coffee. That didn't last either.
Wow.
Shots fired.
We don't talk about that on the show.
No, we just
Kidding. Tonight is Monday, March 7th, 7:12 p.m. Welcome on in to the number one sports podcast in the state of Michigan.
And the world.
I'm Vengeance.
Vengeance.
I am vengeance.
Oh my God, Alex. We have Robert Pattinson in this Zoom?
Robert
That was really
Pattinson.
good. Oh, Robert Pattinson. That is so obvious. I never even thought of it.
So should we just do weekly check-ins that don't revolve around the Batman?
Yeah. What, are you in a rush or something?
I don't know. I just really want to talk about the Batman.
Let's do, you got to tease it a little bit. But first, before we even get into any of that, preview the show, weekly recap, both our basketball schools, their weeks, their previews. Within those previews, conference tournament play. We'll touch on some of the major conferences and give predictions on who we think will win their tournaments. We have the Batman review, like Alex said. Matt Reeves is the Batman. We have Lions free agency preview because it's coming up. I believe March 16th is the day when that stuff goes live. So we're going to hit that now before March Madness gets way crazy. And then we have a big old duffel bag of listener questions, about 11 of them. They're pretty fast though, so we'll fly through. I would basically title this life questions as some serious advice people need and also getting to know us better, because a lot of questions about us and who are we. 62 episodes in, and we've been talking about sports so much, people don't feel like they know us, it sounds like. Or we have new listeners after the Chief of Prop episode. That could be true.
Or people just like our non-sports segments way better.
That too. And that's the power they hold in this process. If they ask the questions, we're going to answer it, and they can take us in any direction they want. We are their puppets. Who wants to start with the recaps? Who did anything sweet?
Oh, that's probably Evan.
Okay, here we go. Thursday, saw the Batman.
The Batman.
After watching a half of pitiful basketball, we'll get there. Friday.
So the Batman.
Yeah. Friday night, saw the Batman. Had the posse in town. Hung out. Yeah, hung out a little bit.
I just realized, like, for those that don't know us well, like, you just drop in the posse every week. Is they're like, what is this posse that Evan's referring to all the time?
Yeah.
Just a bunch of dudes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
The coolest
Saturday,
dudes.
just really duded it up, just sat in a hot tub and just drank our faces off. Got way too drunk for a little bit of time. It was a good time. It was quality time. And then went out to the bars Saturday night in East Lansing. Breaking news, it is spring break. Breaking news, nobody was out. Walked into Harper's.
It looked like that on the story.
Yeah, walked into Harper's around 10:30. And nobody was on the dance floor. Everybody's kind of just sitting at tables. So we sat at a table. I had a quality time. It was still fun. Bet on some basketball. So cheer that.
Did you hit your bets?
I did not, but like the two
Evan?
guys I was with, they bet on. So I was like,
let's
fan.
slow down. I was told by you yourself, you cashed out your gambling accounts.
Correct. Grant was getting there. I was getting to that point. I did cash
Care to
out.
expand?
I cashed out, and then I lost the rest of my money from not cashing out on Tuesday night. Yeah, so 6 days ago, I lost all the rest of my money on Tuesday night. Not saying what the bet was.
It's very clear what it was.
Yep. But the two guys I was with, they did a joint bet together They're saying, well, what are we feeling? There's one game on, just tipped off. Okay, we're riding USC money line. And so, I gave them 2 picks that I liked. I said USC plus 7.5 and the over. Both of those would have hit. But it was fun. One of them got way too drunk in the short amount of time that we were there. It was kind of funny. Tried Giorgio's again. Well, I went into Giorgio's. I did not try it. And then we were walking back from downtown and had this car of like 4 or 5 dudes just pull up, and there's 3 of us. And this car stopped right next to us. And they were just cursing us out, dropping every word underneath the sun. Basically challenged to fight us. Yep.
Fight night.
They wanted to fight us so bad.
And?
Well, we didn't. It was like 3-on-4 or on 5. We didn't do it. I had one of them that was drunk who just downed a macaroni bacon pizza.
Ryan.
Correct. And so I was like,
that pizza is terrible, by the way.
I was like, no. So, we kind of took a left turn with what they were saying. What we said back, we kind of just made it super awkward for them.
Oh, I know what you guys did.
Yep.
I don't.
And so,
oh my God, that's hilarious.
They kind of they were driving off and challenging us, but not. Then they stopped on the intersection and waited for us to catch up to them while we were walking.
These guys had nothing better to do.
Yeah.
Losers.
We saw them later in our walk going through the intersection of Michigan Ave and Harrison, and they were yelling at other people too. They looked like twerps. I don't know if they had a knife or a gun on them, so I'm not challenging them. We were outnumbered.
Could you have taken them just with your fists?
I mean, if they have a knife or a gun, I'm not fighting them.
I said if they didn't have that, just fists.
If it was, if I was numbered the same amount with them, yes. If it was 4-on-4, I would have done it.
Evan was fresh off of 2 screenings of The Batman. There's no chance these kids are surviving.
Thank you.
I'm Batman.
Or maybe they just got back from The Batman and
funny
they were
story,
feeling.
Alex. I did say after they left, and I said, you know what? If Alex was here, I think we would have gotten into a fight tonight.
I don't know if that's a compliment or a diss, but I agree.
Mr. Heat Miser over there always trying to stir up the pot.
Yeah.
Well, small anger management issues.
Kind of like a Juwan Howard.
Yeah, I would say I have a similar temper to Juwan.
And then basketball game Sunday was fun. The stars showed out. As in stars, I mean, they're D-level stars. Steve Mariucci sat in front of us. George Blaha was in attendance.
Mooch.
Yeah. That was fun. That was my weekend.
Wow. What about you, Grant?
I had some really good alcoholic beverages. That was what I wrote down from the weekend. I had some margaritas at Condado Tacos. No free ads. I chipped myself to death. Ate a lot of chips. But I had
Can we stop on that chip conversation real quick?
We can stop wherever
I
you
just
want.
need to describe in detail to Evan a little bit about this chip eating. There was a point where I'm not sure Grant took a breath for 15 minutes while he just had the salsa in front of him and the whole thing of chips in front of him. He was just shoveling his mouth. Shoveling.
Man. When's that
Hey, man.
Didn't even take a breath.
It was the Roja spicy hot red salsa. And as you guys know, when you're eating really spicy foods and you like it, you have to eat fast because if you take a break, it's all going to catch up to your tongue and you're going to be dead. And they were not frozen margaritas, so they weren't going to cool off my tongue. I had to go fast. It was a game plan, and I stuck to it. And no one else wanted it, so I was going after it.
Or no one had the option to have any.
Or that was also part of the strategy. And then I kind of fumbled the bag. Not really, because I wasn't too drunk, but if I was, it would have been dumb. We went to Jolly Pumpkin in Royal Oak, and then I ordered a whiskey drink, which I just thought after I did that, Grant, why did you do that after you've been drinking? I drank margaritas with tequila in them, obviously, and then some Corona Lights at the middle stop. And then I let's just have whiskey too. What a surefire way to throw up. So thankfully I did not throw up. I just had a mild headache in the morning. We also played some arcade games, some low budget touchscreen games that you find at a bowling alley on one of those little old school computers. That was kind of fun. I had a good time there.
Yeah, I dominated Grant in every game. I just want that on the record.
Not a big
yeah,
deal.
I guess in the one we played, I'm not sure how many we played. I set
Played paper flick football domination. And then
that
we
game
played
was for 4-year-olds though.
Putt dominated.
I set a world record in air hockey, I think, in the lower Michigan Southeast area, I would say. Just absolutely
What'd you
dominate
win,
this
like
computer.
18-1?
14-3. I went out on like a 9-0 run. It was fist pumping in a crowded bar.
Did see that.
Started playing Wordle this week, and I got Alex addicted to it, so we are now nerds.
I'm 5 for 5 lifetime, just so everyone knows.
Evan, do you play?
I do play. Let's see. I have
Horde. Spoiler.
Yep.
We're going to have you. Can you please enter your scores in the chat that you'll be in tomorrow morning? Just every day, if you win or lose, just send your score to this chat.
my score.
Well, like, you know how you can like share it and gives all the cubes if you got it right.
Oh, I didn't know I could share it over text messages. I just saw it was popular to share it on Twitter of when you sick brag, like get it on the second or third try.
Yeah, no, you'll be sending it to the group chat now every morning.
I've played 19 days in a row. I got
Oh,
one.
wow.
I've gotten one wrong.
What? Do not hurt me.
So I'm
You're
a
a
16
legend.
game win streak, 95%. You know, not a big deal.
That's legitness.
That's
Legit,
legit.
yeah.
Alex, you're weak, man.
Didn't do anything really during the week. I did the same margarita dance on Friday with Grant. Saturday, woke up a little more hungover than expected.
I knew that was going to happen.
But not too
Oh yeah,
bad.
you were recklessly texting in the group chats. You couldn't spell anything.
I was informed of that later on. However, I did tell a friend of the podcast I'd go to the golf show with him and his fiance. And his
At
uncle.
the golf show.
You did
So
show
I
up there. Fact, you
I
did show
did.
up there.
I did make it to the golf show. I mean, this was the most crowded event I've seen in quite a while. I mean, it was like just wall to wall, middle-aged men smelling like booze and weed and cigarettes. I mean, you could just walk around the golf. I got there at 10:15. Everyone's just walking around with like Bud Lights, the tall, like blue aluminum bottles. Everyone's just
bottles.
drinking beers. I see Dip Spit just like sitting on one of the tables. I'm like, this is pretty grungy. But I did walk away with some new shoes. So if my parents are listening, I did not walk away with new shoes. But to you guys, I did.
Mr.
The
Moneybags over here.
Bryson DeChambeau Puma 5000s.
Yes. But I also, Evan, I saw your father
Yeah, he
and
told
your
me
uncle.
That. He told me that today.
Yeah. And where else would they be but the bar? That's where they were.
That's what he said.
Thinking back on that, Alex, you saw so many high-level people this weekend.
Yeah. I also saw Matt Ishiba. Or Ishbia. Or however you say his last name. I saw a billionaire.
Matt Ibiza.
Yeah, bees.
So did you, Grant, though. You just didn't know who he was.
No, it was actually kind of funny, Evan, and it's just it almost tells us we're too deep into this college sports world and fandom. Like we walked by him on a crosswalk in Birmingham, and he had
He was coming out of the movie theater.
like all his kids and with a big group. He was in the front of it, leading them across the street. And Alex has this. We get across, and Alex is like staring at me, not saying anything, like looking like. And I finally look. I'm like, "What's that face?" He goes, "You don't know who we just passed?" And I go, "No."
Dude, I looked him right in the eyes.
A normal family's like, "That was Matt Ishiba." I go, "Yeah, dude, I would not know who that is." Like,
Hey, Ben was like, "Oh, no way, dude. You know, that does
I thought it
look
was
like him."
I thought it was cool, but like you were just like, "Dude, how did you not pick that up right there?" I was like, "I don't know. I'm focused on the Batman. I'm not worried about."
He's my school's biggest booster.
And even better, after the movie, Alex ran into one of the children that goes to the YMCA in one of the funniest encounters I've ever witnessed.
Oh, man. Yeah, apparently, there's a bunch of kids that go to the YMCA because their parents probably drop them off and pick
Probably
them up after
freshmen,
school
really, 'cause
or
they
something.
can't drive, I'm guessing. Yeah.
Something. They come there after school, whatever. And I've had many interactions with these kids, but have never talked to them. But they always are like, they're the kids that are like huddled around the bench and like don't put the clips on. And then kid drops it on his chest. Both weights fall off both sides. Like this happens like daily. And people get fed up all the time. Never talk to me. I'm walking down the street. It's like 9 p.m. We just saw The Batman. We're walking. The kid's like, hey, you go to the YMCA? I was like, yeah. He's like, sweet Spurs shirt. And I didn't even know what he was talking about because I was wearing a Tottenham sweatshirt once. Spurs. Didn't even think about it. Shows my true fandom. And I'm like, thanks, man. He's like, is it worth it? I'm like, what? He's like, the Batman. Is that where you guys were? Is it worth it? Like, oh my God, dude. I just want to walk back. You don't just like talk to random people you don't know that are like 10 years older than you. It's super weird, but
So funny.
Grant and Ben had a great time laughing about that. Because Grant goes to the same gym. He didn't say anything to him.
No, absolutely not. It was so funny. Hey, you're that kid from the YMCA.
Yeah, it's pretty embarrassing.
And now, drum roll, the Batman. Evan,
The Batman.
you saw it twice.
I did.
What were your initial thoughts? Your opening statement.
Opening statement. It is one of the best.
Spoilers ahead. Sorry, spoilers ahead. James Bond died. There's no big spoilers in this one though, so don't worry.
One of the best directed, filmed, planned together, thoughtful movie that we've seen for like the superhero genre, DC or Marvel's. It's been put together in a long time, if not the best one. You can argue it's better than Dark Knight. You could. But overall, I think just the quality of the movie stands apart. And then a lot of people can gripe about, here and there. But if you like take a step back and you start analyzing the different parts and why and who does what, I think you get a more appreciation the more you watch it. So, like, for example, people were complaining that Robert Pattinson doesn't really show his true self as Bruce Wayne. But he's in his second year as Batman, and he's had an argument in the movie with Alfred about how he doesn't care about his family's worth anymore. So he's only focused on Batman. That's why you don't really see him that much as Bruce Wayne. He's kind of on the darker side of like he wants vengeance. He wants to figure out who killed his parents. That's kind of why you see only a little part of the dark Bruce Wayne.
You're saying as opposed to like in the Dark Knight Dark Knight where like Christian Bale gets dressed up and goes to a fancy party. You're saying
Correct.
Like there's not that.
You don't see as much. Like some people like seeing the Bruce Wayne aspect of it.
The Playboy
Yes.
Bruce Wayne aspect.
Correct.
I like that they did a different tone. Like it would have been kind of lame, I thought, if they just like copy and pasted the Dark Knight format. So I did enjoy. And I guess my background is we joke. I think we've mentioned it on here that I'm not deep into the DC Marvel weeds, so I can't compare it to other movies like that. But I am a diehard, at least Dark Knight fan. Like not a big deal. Don't want to hurt anyone, but I own the trilogy box set of the Dark Knight and would watch it a lot. Even Batman Begins, I've seen it at least twice, which is high praise because people just poop on that movie all the time. Sneaky, really good. Anyways, so I think I just have the nostalgia of it, and I don't. It's not even worth comparing in my mind. Like obviously it is for like the hot takes and the opinions, but like I will say this movie's 100% worth the money. And the biggest thing that just blew me away was how well produced and like shot it was. The cinematography, as I guess movie critics call it, was fantastic. There's so many unique and close up shots, like even just the details of how many times they zoomed in on Batman's boots as he walked, and you had the good sound effects as he slowly approaches something, or the scene when the Penguin is flipped upside down in his car and you get his perspective of laying upside down looking at the fire and Batman walking through. Like, it was a visually stunning movie. If you just even if you didn't even like the plot, you could just watch the movie and be like, wow, I'm entertained for $13 to $15 on a weekend night. So definitely worth seeing in the theaters.
I would agree with what both you said. I really liked how it was shot. Thought as Grant said, the cinematography was very good. Really cool shots. It's always dark, which I usually don't like that, but it played pretty well in this movie. And it was always raining. Thought that was a little strange, but also made sense for the tone of the movie. Overall, I'd say it was really good. I did think that there were some super cheesy moments, as there are in most superhero movies. but as a whole, I liked it. It was super dark, and I'm all for that.
What were the natural follow-up there is what were your cheesy moments that you thought?
Yeah.
Catwoman drinking a glass of milk.
that really bothered Alex.
That just did not sit well with me for some reason. I just thought it was weird.
The only time he spoke to me the whole movie was like he just said milk. And like,
well, just because cats drink milk, I just thought that was super cheesy and just completely unnecessary. Other cheesy moments. Well, Grant, we talked about this one, but when the Penguin is upside down in the car and Batman just comes up, and he just like goes like
the
this.
way he leaned.
I was
so
trying
funny.
not to laugh, but it was just like the most awkward thing. He just like laid down and was like looking at him. Thought that was pretty funny, and it wasn't supposed to be funny. So I would say
there was.
plot.
I wrote that down. Unintentional funny. I don't know if I'd call them cheesy, but they just were like a pretty serious movie overall. But there were some points where you just laughed, and I'm not sure they intended for you to laugh. When he busts out his wingsuit for the first time and just completely falls and smashes into a bunch of stuff, I just was laughing at like how terrible that was.
I liked the idea of him flying. I wanted it to be longer. It's one of like the small things I didn't like. I wanted that scene to be longer. I want to see him fly more. But in fairness, I was like, well, maybe this is his first time doing it, and that's why he
looked like it.
That's why he got
Certainly
rocked.
looked like it.
And I didn't like just the camera angle when they would show Batman flying, like almost like a GoPro over his head. I didn't like that shot. But other than that, I mean, I don't have anything to gripe about this movie. I thought.
How did you feel? I have an important question because I've heard a lot of complaints about the whole like love thing with Catwoman. How did you feel about that?
Know what Catwoman's character is based off of comics and previous animated series and previous movies. If you don't know what Catwoman's like character is supposed to be, then you're not a true Batman fan, and you shouldn't complain about like the love interest. That's the whole point of like.
But how do you think it worked in this movie specifically? I'm not saying I'm one of the people. I'm just telling you what I've heard.
Very well. What's her name?
Zoe Kravitz.
Yes, she did a flawless job, and I think anytime that she was like the lead role on the scene, I think was the takeaway, or how do you want to put it, like the best person on camera in her scenes that she was shot at.
She fumbled the bag one time and it really irked me. She had her big moment in the sun, had it all planned out to shoot her real father, Falcone.
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 Why do you keep saying Falconery?
It just sounds...
Second time you've done
whatever.
that.
Lapse in my brain. You get the point. So she comes back into the room where he's watching the news, and instead of just blowing his brains out, she just talks to him for like a minute about what she's going to do and her revenge, and just absolutely misses by a mile. And I was like, it would have been more, I told Alex this because it's like what kept it from being all time. Like, and you think about have you both of you guys seen The Departed?
Yes.
So I'm not like that.
But you're
ending,
obsessed with that movie.
That ending when the shit goes down, they don't like warn you about what's going to happen. People just get shot in the head. And I think if you just like, they filmed it, I don't know how they would do it, Matt Reeves, but if they just filmed it where it was an unexpected shot to his head, you knew she did it obviously because she was planning to. I think that would have been more impactful than this like kind of corny, oh, you know what you did, now I'm going to shoot you, and she just misses, and then it's just this chase scene. But obviously, like, they wanted the plot to keep going, and then that had to lead to him getting shot by the Riddler. But I guess if there was more just, like, in-your-face moments, I think that would have been better. Or, I don't know. Like, whereas, like, oh, that's a plot twist, I didn't see that coming. There were some of them, but a lot of times it was like, okay, this is how, like, a superhero movie is going to play out. But overall, again, I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, I think I was a little harsh on it when I came out of the theater.
Grant basically hated it when he walked out, so it was alarming. I was like, wow, I didn't see the same movie. You were very negative about it when you walked out.
I said I was glad I went. I think I rated it in the high sevens.
Watch it again, is what he said.
I did say that.
Which I
it's
thought
also
was
long.
Super harsh.
When a movie's north of 2.5 hours, it really has to blow you away to want to watch again because it's a big commitment.
Would you watch it again?
Yeah, I would. Just to see if I could pick up on some more things that make it better.
I have a question for Evan, since you didn't really like the movie. When Batman is on the wire and cuts it to fall into the water, was that a suicide attempt?
No, it's him changing his like that whole scene, like the whole sequence where he's at, like inside the arena. It's him changing as like the dark, unknowing what like he's gonna do for like the good of people. It's like him like sacrificing himself. I wouldn't say a suicide attempt, but him sacrificing himself for the good of other people that were trapped in the water. He's
He
cutting.
was ready to die. He's basically
Correct.
like, if I
And
die,
then,
I die.
Like the whole, like the flare scene, people said that whole sequence of him in the arena, they said they should have just scrapped that entire scene. But it's like a transition of him being like this vengeance and like just only wanting revenge for his father's death to actually realizing that he needs to help Gotham City and help the civilians.
I did figure that out afterwards, but in the moment of the theater, I was like, is he really just like giving up and killing himself right now? And I'm going to watch him die? And it's just a one movie type of thing? I'm like, wow. That's what I thought when it happened.
Like, I appreciate it more. Like, I didn't like the way Robert Pattinson was going to be. I didn't like him when he was casted. When he first got announced casted, I didn't like it. But now I appreciate him as the Batman. I think he's going to do a fantastic job for the next couple movies. And I was cheesy on the Batmobile, but now realizing that Batman's only in the second year, he doesn't have the funding from like the Wayne Foundation backing him because he has nothing to do with that. So he's not like smuggling money in from all of his parents' money. He's building everything himself. He's showing his his genius side of Batman, and clearly, you know, there's some hidden Easter eggs here and there for what the next couple movies could be, which I found satisfying.
Did you see there's a couple spin-off series coming to HBO Max?
Spin-off theories coming to HBO Max.
Series.
No, I did not.
About the police station, the GCPD.
Gotham City Police
and then there will also be a Penguin series. So you're going to need HBO Max.
Thought it was cool when they had the Penguin handcuffed and they left him, that he actually waddled like a penguin. I enjoyed that.
Actually, you know the actor's name that played the Penguin? I thought he did a
Colin
fantastic job.
Yeah, he is. The
second time I watched
if you
it,
look up a picture of him.
Oh, I saw it today.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I didn't believe it, and I had to look it up again. I said, no, this is not the actor that played him.
Yeah, no. He's a really good actor.
Didn't like how easy it was for Batman to continuously walk into the mafia club and just beat everyone through the door, but I guess, you know, you have to move the plot along. It was just like he could just walk up, knock, and say hello, and then just beat everyone's butt and just get back
brother,
there.
you know, when I watched it the first time, I was like, it's kind of weird, but my brother kind of showed like he's able to kind of get wherever he needs to in three different characters. You know,
he did go in Batman, different times.
He did it as Bruce Wayne, and then he did it as like a dark secret mission where he can't be shown as either.
True. That is good. That's a great counterpoint. It kind of seems a little bit cooler now when you say it that way.
Hater.
Shout out Luke, who, when we left watching it Thursday night, the first time I watched it, didn't even pick up on this. But he instantly said, you know, with the shot on the catwalk and him going into beast mode, shooting himself with like the stim, or some people are saying it's the venom serum. He instantly said Bane could be coming back with that.
Ben said the same thing.
Yep. I didn't even think of that until Luke said it. Bane could be coming back. The mayor's son, unfortunately, there's rumors that there could be a Robin character coming in the future.
Thought that was possible based on how many times they showed the kid.
And now, like, when you left the movie, there's rumors of a Hush character villain, you know, based off of the comic book series, and it did say Hush in the movie when they were exploiting the Wayne family. So there could be that. There could also be my older brother. Well, he's actually seen it 3 times now that we're talking. He kind of said, you know, now that the city is flooded, you know, you could have Killer Croc come into the aspect of things. And then I said, well, now that city's flooded, they said it's November 6th, getting into the winter. You can see Penguin take over, or they're going to introduce like a Mr. Freeze character.
But what about the Joker / Two-Face character at the end?
Yeah.
Sounds like they got a lot of options is what they planned for.
And according to, there's like rumors out there what Matt Reeves has said, Matt Reeves kind of like hinted at he wants to kind of show a lot of characters like he did in this movie. You know, you had the Catwoman, you had the Riddler, you had Penguin, and rumor has it, you know, you might have had Joker. So he might not have the Joker in the next movie and just explore other characters. And I would like, with the technology that we have nowadays, I would love to see like the expanded like villain cast of like the next Batman movie. Yes, we've had Mr. Freeze, and it was the worst movie ever created in it as a superhero movie. I would love to see if Mr. Freeze. But I would also like to see like other prominent like villains in like Batman's world, I guess. Like you could have a Clayface now, you could have a Man-Bat. Those are the two characters that I feel like definitely would take apart.
You want a Marvel blueprint for DC going forward, but just all Batman?
Not necessarily. I just like using the same
Grant can't relate to this, but
using the same characters over and over again. Like I feel like expanding and using more would make the movie better.
Yeah,
we've seen we've seen the Riddler, but it was also in part of that worst movie of all time. We've had Joker. How many Jokers now are out there in like the universe? I know they're all not connected, but still.
My only two things to leave Matt Reeves with to think about, to chew on, is one, find a Catwoman or female sidekick that stokes my attractiveness levels a little bit higher. Thought Zoe Kravitz is a stunning woman, but not my cup of tea. And two, let's get some sex in Batman. Batman has sex.
Oh.
So let's not kiss at the end. Let's get a little James Bond, a little action. Let's get a little Christian Bale
Bruce Wayne
action.
is a playboy
sex
in most scenarios. So
yes.
I think that'll be coming.
Oh, yeah.
I think we'll see much more Bruce Wayne in the next one, just if I had to guess.
And it also, this movie is a great reminder. I'm just going to slip this in there real quick of why Batman is so great and why it's really the only superhero movies, I guess, I get behind, is because you just see again and again how sweet he is because he has no superpowers, really. He didn't get bit by a magical spider and shoot webs out of his fingers. He just lifts weights and builds cool things and beats people's faces in.
That point to me now, like when we go back to Ben Affleck, it was kind of more like unrealistic of like Batman actually fighting Superman. They kind of like made it more realistic in the aspect of when Batman was fighting like a group of guys or whatnot, you could see him getting hit a couple times and actually like flinching. He got a 12 gauge shotgun to the chest, so and it
Grant didn't like that. That's a good point. Grant hated that. Said he should have been.
I hated how like long the guy took to reload the shotgun and just stared at him and didn't shoot him again. But you gotta build suspense.
Yes.
I get it.
So made that more realistic. And I forgot, you bringing up Catwoman makes me remember. So at the end, what city was she gonna go to, Alex?
I can't remember.
Bloodhaven.
Babylon.
It's the same one as Nighthawk guards
Nightwing.
and protects.
Are you even a fan?
Sorry, it's been a while, man.
It's the same city that Nightwing prowls and is like control over, just like Batman's Gotham City, Nightwing's Bloodhaven.
So that'll probably be its own separate thing as well.
So you could have a Nightwing series. You could
just expand the Batverse. Let's bring in Lego Batman, the greatest Batman movie of all time. Lego Batman.
Very underrated, but people did vote that was the worst Batman of all time.
If you haven't seen it, you're missing out.
Yes,
it's
true.
a great soundtrack.
True. Great movie. I enjoyed it.
It really is. I like it a lot.
All right, so that concludes your second ever movie review done by us. We will hit up our third one when there's a universally desired movie for the three of us to see. I'll probably be holding the group back because Alex and Evan see much more movies than I do. But when that next one comes that tickles my fancy, we'll be doing it. So, college basketball, it's March. It's still March. It's the first week. Our teams both won on Sunday. Got some big time wins there for one team to get back on track, for one team to, in my words, clinch their NCAA playoff berth. I really hope they get in because I'm going to look like an absolute idiot if they don't. I will go quickly with the Michigan-Ohio State game. My main takeaway was, I know it's like recency bias, but I would say it has to be the most important win of the season and most surprising as well. People can say your next game's your most important, but you look back at like the other ones I put it in contention with were the home Purdue win and the home Michigan State win. Michigan State more of the rivalry factor, and you're still playing again in the tournament. Purdue, when you look back at the Purdue win, the blowout factor like increased Michigan's net rating the most and helped them in those ranking metrics. But this one had the feeling of you have to win this game or you're going to have to do a lot of work in Indianapolis, more work than you want to have to do. And then obviously you get Dickinson with the tummy ache. Who knows what happened there? Maybe Ohio State food poisoned him. I love that theory. He's probably throwing up before the game. He can't play. And somehow this team pulled together a win. Well, not somehow, I know. Terrence Williams III absolutely carved the Buckeyes. Defense was, so that's what, two of his last 3 games where he's made 3 threes. So that's out of the blue and just getting hot at the right time. And it was on the road. Usually role players, we know the phrase, they shoot better at home. Find a way to shot better on the road. And then Devontae Jones, I probably owe him an apology. I know I was a Frankie Collins guy going into the season, just as a more fascinating prospect, I would say. But Devontae Jones has confirmed, even though he has his ups and downs, like he had 2 turnovers at the end of the game against Iowa to stop Michigan's comeback attempt. He is the point guard for this team, and he should be getting 30-plus minutes as he does, and he proved to everyone why he does. Just big play, big grown man play after grown man play. Saw why he was so good at Coastal in a game like this, takes it over. Ohio State was shorthanded too. I'm not going to overlook that. I guess I always forget that Kyle Young really matters for their team, but you can really see he does when their ball screen coverage is that of a 6th grade YMCA team when he's out. So I think it was just stunning that Michigan went into the half down 7 with EJ Liddell and Branham firing on all cylinders at the last 4 minutes of the half. And then they dug deep. And some people are saying it's because Ohio State played pump it up. I don't know. I think it's a football thing. Michigan just goes on a massive run. And I said in my recap, the key point was when Alex can attest to this. I was mother effing the TV. Michigan's up 8, wide open kick to Caleb Houston. Missed a 3 that would have made it 11 points. He was 0 for 10 on the game. That's neither here nor there. And then the lead got cut to 4. And then Devontae Jones with a tough bucket and an assist to Diabate for a dunk to get it back to 8. And when you get it back up to 8 with 6 to 5 minutes to go, that's when it's okay, you have a real chance to pull off this road upset. And they did. So credit to them. I do fully think they're in the tournament. Other storylines for this team, the last 2 things is Coach Howard's return is upon us. He is back. They did not practice today, but he was holding individual meetings with the players. I personally think it's going to fire him up. I think the way he is, I don't know. I'm curious to see how it'll change. Will it be an immediate, will he be in refs' ears as much? Will he be kind of timid to come back? Or will he just thrust like the Kool-Aid man, burst through that wall and come storming into the Big Ten tournament? I don't know. But I do think that the team loves him as a coach, and I think they're not going to be, we liked it better when Martelli was there or anything. They're going to be ready to go. The competitiveness is going to be there. They're going to try to prove that they can spin this as any sort of injustice against them as they want and just get back to the flow that they were in. So I think it's going to be a good thing. I could see how people could think, you could make the case it could go the other way as a distraction. It is going to be a media distraction because he has not talked since his post-game press conference. I don't know when that's going to come. People are going to ask him questions about it, so going to have to get through that hurdle. And then lastly, like we said, will I be surprised if they lose to Indiana? A little bit, because I think Indiana's really bad, but Indiana is the most desperate team in the country. They are legitimately the top of the first team out, so they are playing for everything. They have to win, but in the same time, Michigan could convince themselves they have to win, so we'll see what happens. If you guys have any thoughts on Michigan, you can get them in. If not, we can go to Michigan State.
Do you think Dickinson's holding this team back?
I love that question. That is a good question.
There were some fire tweets. Yes, they were from Michigan State fans, and they said, yes, when will Michigan fans realize that Dickinson's holding them back? I don't think they're holding him back, but it's just interesting as the defensive side, Dickinson doesn't really play pick and roll defense that well as he sags more. Yes, he is a rim protector, but he's still not very active on the defensive side. So do you think he's holding them back, just at least in the defensive side? Now where you have Musa and you have, yes, we're all not really big fans of Brandon Johns, but he's more athletic, and you can switch more often on defense.
I think it's fair to say defensively they become a better team when he's off the floor or out in these cases. I would say as a whole, though, if you did his whole net plus minus, I don't think he's holding his team back. I mean, there were stretches of the season when no one else could make a shot, and he carried them through stretches. But yeah, I mean, and it's funny you said that because there was clips going on of Steve Lapis in the post-game show saying that in a weird way, Dickinson's absence hurt Ohio State more because it changed their whole scouting game plan, which is quite the reach in my opinion. But it is funny to see how narratives get spun.
I saw a large Michigan account say that it's accurate.
No, it's not.
A respected Michigan basketball person.
That's fine, but like
I'm sure you saw it.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. I just
said that he made some good points.
That can be fine. I just think...
And he agreed.
I don't agree. So I disagree. And that's fine. That's the beauty of basketball. It's like... Because the Ohio State had to have a game plan for when Dickinson sits out. There's like 10 minutes a game. So they know how to play when he's not on the floor. It's like... To say that Ohio State was harmed more by Dickinson's absence is one of the dumber things I've heard said on TV. But it is funny to see the narratives that come out after a game like that. What it really does, though, when Dickinson's out, is it makes it easier for Michigan to come back in a game because they have to rely on the three-pointer. If that makes sense, because when Dickinson's in, they just pound it through the post, and then you get down 7 points, and you're just trying to scrap back with tough hook shot twos. It can get kind of tough to do. So in that case, it did kind of help them be able to make some threes to come back there in the second half and pull away. So there's pros and cons of it, but overall, no, he's not holding the team back, I would say.
Yeah, I think the narrative is bad, especially with Ohio State with Young out and Key played limited minutes. I think it benefited Ohio State more that Dickinson was out.
Yeah, they're going through some
I
injuries
think that's
themselves.
the natural thought would think that if the best player isn't playing, you're in a better spot.
Yeah, he'll be second team All Big Ten. He's like one of the best players I've ever seen at Michigan.
And I had another point with Juwan coming back. I think the players are going to play for him. I don't think there's any question about that. I do find it interesting, though, how he's going to act on the sideline more. If it's him personally saying, I need to change, or if it's like somebody higher up needs to tell him you need to like cool it down. Obviously, there's going to be situations in the game where he just can't control himself. But it's also interesting to see how like the refs are going to handle him. Are they going to be more lenient, or are they going to be more strict? I see them being more strict, and they're not going to let him get away with like talking back to him as easily now. He has a big asterisk on his back with getting suspended. I know it wasn't at the refs, but it's coming down through the Big Ten Conference. So it's going to be interesting, especially, like you said, it's Indiana. I believe Michigan's in, but if they lose to Indiana, that could drop them back down into like seeding. Now you're in like the playing game, more bubble watch.
Yeah, that's the main downside of his return. If you're trying to dig for one, is if he does feel like he has to be more reserved, that's a disadvantage for Michigan because you want your coach working the refs. You can get annoyed when opposing coaches do it, but you need your coach to be working the refs to get calls later in the game. The best coaches in the game are do master classes at that. So I am curious, like you said, to watch how he acts out there. I wonder if he practices his handshake form too. Just really get it in there and grab the elbow. Unless he doesn't want to grab elbows anymore. Who knows? Sign of aggression.
Yeah. Also, shout out BV13. They asked for a shout out mid-show. So here you go. I don't remember which one of you had the 13 number, but the younger one. BV, younger one.
Yeah. Spartan Hoops. Back off the schneid. Grilled up some turp butt on Sunday. On senior night, Alex and I were joking. I can't think of the last time I actually witnessed Michigan State losing senior night. We did the research, and it was Ohio State once upon a time when they were really good, I believe.
What year was that?
Like 08.
I did not look it up on Sunday. I looked it up like a
07.
year ago. Like every year, Alex and I have this discussion that Michigan State never loses.
Let me just tell you.
My guess is 2012.
Had to be one of their obviously Thad Matta.
Brandon Dawson tore his ACL
top
in that
5
game.
Teams.
On senior night.
Simply doesn't lose. Evan, you were there for the roller coaster of this game. Walk me through your emotions of this game in the stands. We're on top of the world. We suck again. We won.
True. There's a little nervous energy in there. Like we just got throttled during the week. It wasn't even fun. There's some doubt, and they're like, are we really going to lose 3 games and have the worst week in Michigan State history? We're going to back into the tourney. You saw a little fight at the beginning, which is exciting. Got out, played fantastic in the first half. Defense was obviously a point of focus in the 2 days that we had off. And then I think it was just a lot easier getting into our offense. Yes, Bingham hit a couple threes, out of the ordinary. Maryland's not going to start 0 for 12 from the field on Thursday, but it just felt good that a lot of guys contributed and they're not relying on one or two guys to have like a good game. It was a more complete team effort. I know Hogarth didn't play in the second half that much, but that he was in the doghouse for Tom Izzo from what I saw on the bench. It does suck that we gave up a 20-some point lead or 20-point lead. But Eric Isle got hot, and he's been a Spartan killer for the last 4 years. You can go back to the Big Ten tournament last year. He would just isolate, and whoever was on him, he was taken to the hoop. This time was, I don't care where I'm at on the court, I'm going to shoot this three, and there was a stretch where he made 4 or 5. So tip your cap to them. I just thought it was a really team game. Nobody really stood out to me. Akins played more minutes. Yes, he didn't really wow me offensively. I know defensively, his plus minus was plus 22. Christie struggled a lot. That's
Good
why
player.
Akins played. But it was just a well-rounded team effort. And I think going forward, this is the film that I would show them over and over and over again, and just everybody doing their part in small situations that contribute dramatically. We had 3 turnovers in the first half. I think 2 of them were offensive pick play fouls, and then we got fouls in the second half. Fat Russell might be the fastest kid I've ever seen on the court.
He is lightning in a bottle.
He's a blur.
He was also working the refs hard. In fairness, he is short. He's shorter than Walker. And he was not getting the calls that he should be getting when he was driving down the
Bingham
lane.
did throw him down on the ground, and
Correct.
it didn't get called.
Yeah. All in all, well-rounded game. And I think to get the monkey off the back of Izzo finally getting 663 might be on some of the players' minds. Senior night, it's a lot easier to play when you have something to play for. So it's good to go into the tournament. I hate playing Maryland again. I wish we played Penn State. But we'll see how much fight Maryland has now that they are guaranteed a losing season and they're not really playing for any tournaments.
Just so we're caught up here, I'm at 2007, 2008 season yet, and I have not found a loss yet.
Well, there you go.
But I agree
Alex,
with
your thoughts on the game.
with most of what Evan said.
Where do you disagree then?
I guess I don't disagree with anything. So. I did think no one really stood out, but the whole team played well, and that's something that has not happened much in the last 8 years, it feels like, but really just the last couple of months.
Right.
My biggest thing with this team, though, is they've proved they can play well at home. They haven't played well away from home in quite a while, so it's just hard for me to look at the Maryland game and think that everything's fixed and everything's fine, and they've caught some momentum, because I'm not really sure. I do think and agree with Evan, playing Maryland a third time is not ideal, especially 4 days later after you just played them. However, I think we match up really well with them. And you got a pretty favorable draw, so ride your momentum into the Big Ten tournament, see if something can happen. So I don't know. Nothing crazy takeaways from that game, and I don't really want to talk about the rest of the week because that was awful. So unless you know,
Totally fair. Good
you would
vibes
like
in
us
March.
to. Yeah, we're
No,
just
I
trying
won't
to
put you
try to
on.
ride good vibes.
It's not fun to get Bohannoned. No one enjoys that.
No, it's not.
I do enjoy getting when Branham goes off because I love that kid, so I can get through that. But when Bohannon's just carving my team up, I don't have a good
Update.
time.
I found the last time Michigan State lost on Senior Day. Any guesses?
Probably a Manny Harris-led team.
2006.
Correct.
We lost to...
Lost 78-65 at the Breslin Center. We finished the season 20-10, and we're a 6th seed in the NCAA tournament and lost to George Mason,
Oh,
who went to the Final Four, Grant.
Yep, correct.
Watch it.
Yeah.
I was on a cruise. That's still embarrassing.
Illinois, number 10 ranked Illinois. On
Oh,
Senior
they were
Day.
coming off of their Final Four trip. Yeah, the
They
following year, 2006, yeah.
We actually finished the season with 4 straight home games and lost 3 of the 4.
Very good. That means we lost the Big Ten at home. Good for you guys. Well, it's 2006. Let's move on from it. We were 9 years old.
present day problems, listener question. Not a problem, just question. Might be the solution. Not AJ Hoggard.
AJ Hoggard is the solution.
Should Max Christie and Jaden Akins split minutes? Let me ask it in a better way. Should Jaden Akins take some of Max Christie's minutes? You're welcome, listener.
I think he's earned the right to some more minutes, but I also don't think Max is going to play that bad every single game. And Max also can shoot the ball a lot better than Jaden, and we kind of need offense, especially considering the half-court struggles that we've had all season. So yes, he should get some more minutes. No, he shouldn't just split minutes, to answer the question directly.
100% agree with Alex. I think this is on a game-on-game basis where how Matt Christie is playing. He does a lot for the team that you probably don't realize. He's usually guarding the best player. He kind of gets plays run for him. He knows how to run like the offense when it's down the shot clock. He can flow through the offense easily. Jaden's he's not lost on offense, but he can't generate a shot as much as Max Christie can. But Jaden can play just as good as defense. There was times that he was out there on Ayala on Sunday, so the team's showing more trust in him. He's scrappier. He goes for rebounds, offense and defensively. So I'm with Alex. I think he should get a couple more minutes here and there. But I wouldn't split him with Max. Max does way too much for the team that goes unnoticed.
I do think Akins will be very important if Michigan State's going to do anything in March, because he's a different type of athlete that we lack.
And in fairness, Jaden Akins is the first guard to come off the bench.
He is.
Away from Hoggard. Okay, you have Hoggard as a point guard. Akins is the next guard to come off the bench because you have Marble and Hall that come off, but they go for Bingham and Hauser. So Akins is like the first wing player to come off the bench.
Yeah. For our listeners, the reason behind maybe he's asking, besides your eye test, I did just quick game log. In the last 11 games for Michigan State, Max Christie has hit double digit in point scoring twice. And I think
you probably won those games.
Obviously, one beat Purdue, he scored 11 points. Surprisingly, at Penn State, he scored 10, and that was a tight loss.
I don't want to talk about
But yeah,
that.
so his double digit scoring, kind of like the Rocket Watts weird stat from last year. If Christie hits double digits, that's kind of how Michigan is with Caleb Houston too. Except for that's why Ohio State was such an anomaly. If those two freshmen that were heralded recruits can get double digits and be efficient with their double digits, both teams have a really good chance to win games. Let's do some predictions so people can make fun of us when we're wrong.
I gotta look up the leagues.
I have screenshots of brackets here. So
we're just going to read us each matchup.
No,
we're going to do the vote thing like we did last year.
No.
It's
He's
just
gonna
gonna
ask
be
you, who's winning the ACC tournament, Alex, and you're going to give your pick, and he's like, Evan, who's going to win the ACC tournament for you?
Yeah, we'll do the actual picks for the big bracket like we did last year, but we're not going to go through.
I thought we were going to do that for the Big Ten tournament because that's what we did last year.
All right, Pitt, Boston College, the 12 and 15.
No, I didn't mean the other conferences. I just meant the
2 p.m. on the ACC network. Who do you got? Who's going to win the ACC tournament?
On the ACC bracket, I'm sorry.
I'm going Duke. They're the best.
You know the teams, Evan. You know the vibes. You can figure. You don't need a bracket. You know this conference. I don't know this.
I think it'll be Duke and North Carolina in the final if the bracket allows that.
I can see the seeding. I'm sorry.
Permission granted. ACC men's tournament.
I'm looking.
It's feeling Duke because of the embarrassment they had on Coach K's last home game. I love revenge factors in conference tournaments. It's a Grant staple when it comes to picking these things. So Duke does have something to play for, even though they did win the regular season.
Notre Dame is the
easily.
two.
Yeah.
Some
good betting value there. Some good betting value there.
Duke, North Carolina final, and I'll take Duke.
I'll take Duke as well. I'm with Grant over like the whole what do you want to call it? Coach K. But if I'm a senior on that team, I don't know if I'm playing as hard. Because they didn't get a senior night because of it. So asterisk there.
The patches on the polos with the K was a step too far, in my honest opinion.
Yep.
I don't like Coach K.
We know.
I'm sure I'd love him if he was my coach.
I don't like
just
him
on the
either.
outside, it seems like way too much. You took Duke, Evan?
I did take Duke. Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay, Dukies. The Beast, the Big East tournament in the Garden, the Mecca. Who we got? Butler Bulldogs across the board. Feels right.
I will not be taking Butler.
This tournament is wide
I will
open.
take Villanova.
Okay. I like
going
that.
UConn.
As a 2 seed.
Oh,
You have to. That's your team.
That's my team.
I hate everything about UConn.
Well, they're good.
Well, the main reason is because they lost me a bet when they were up 21. All they had to do was cover 11.5 point spread, and they blew it against Georgetown, who was the worst team in that conference.
Pick Georgetown, Grant.
Nope. Chalky chalk. I will. Well, it's not chalk because of the 2, but I will go with Evan Villanova in a tournament as a student of the Big East. There's just no. UConn's probably the best threat because I think Providence will just. I wouldn't be. Here's my hot take. I wouldn't be stunned if Providence loses their first game and doesn't make the semifinals. I think, especially if it's Xavier, if they beat Butler, Xavier's on that last 4 in line. They need a win like that. I could definitely see the 8 seed Xavier making the semis. But outside of that, I think Villanova's the most disciplined. They have a senior guard, best leader, Gillespie. Villanova. We'll do the Big Ten last. Big 12. Big 12. Who we got? This is loaded.
I have Baylor.
This is a great conference.
I thought you were going SEC there, so I was looking at the SEC.
I have Baylor. I think they're playing better now down the stretch than other teams are currently.
I'm going to go wild card in this one. Give me the Red Raiders.
Okay.
That
I'll make it-
plus 1,000 odds.
I'll make it a true Neapolitan ice cream sandwich, 3 different flavors. Give me the Texas Longhorns, the Fighting Chris Beard.
Chris Beard going to win his first year in there. That would be
He's
fantastic.
upset that the Red Raiders spanked his little butt around the regular season, and he wants vengeance on this league.
Vengeance.
Where's that game? Where's that championship played at? Does it say?
The T-Mobile Center in Kansas City. Duh.
It's always in
Kansas home
City.
game.
Oh my gosh.
Let's go to the Pac-12.
Damn it, again?
Because I'm feeling like it. Who we got here? The Buffs are a 4 seed? That feels wrong.
Yeah, they are.
Shout out Mel Tucker.
I got UCLA. I think they're too talented on offense. Yes, hand up. I don't watch enough Arizona basketball. Yes, Arizona's better. But they split with UCLA. I just like the way UCLA plays. I think they're more a complete team. And they have the experience. Mick Cronin, underrated coach. So
I'm also all in on UCLA, but for the purpose of going different, I'll just give it dark horse. Oregon Ducks.
Sneaky 5 seed there. The Civil War to start off the
desperate team. Grant's favorite.
Tournament of Champions. I'll take Arizona. Chalk McGee.
Blech.
Got NBA talent all over that team. Let's do the SEC.
Finally. I'm ready for this one.
Arkansas. Razorbacks. The 4 seed. Cutting down the nets. Must bus.
Plus
Who's with me?
3,500 odds.
Value.
I'm going with the hottest team in the SEC right now. The Tennessee Volunteers.
I'm going to go with Auburn.
Smart. Probably
much
the right
talent.
choice.
Too much talent. Well,
Shout out to Amos.
They have like the big 3, I guess, on their team.
SEC is pretty solid.
SEC is sneaky solid.
Auburn, Kentucky, Bama,
You know,
LSU,
I don't like on
Tennessee,
DraftKings.
Arkansas.
Like you can't parlay like future like conference winners. You can't parlay them.
Oh, that's dumb.
Yeah.
You should be able to bet if they'll reach the semis. We should get in the weeds with these things.
Yeah.
I also like LSU's value at the 5. They play great defense when they used to not. But Arkansas feels right because Kentucky's going to win it all. So Kentucky's not going to win their conference tournament.
Kentucky
they can't
might
win
win
it
it
all
all.
and win your conference tournament unless you're Kemba Walker. All right. Am I missing any other major ones or is it Big Ten time?
The MAC. We have to do the
No.
MAC.
I did not do the American.
I got Toledo winning
Toledo.
the MAC.
Toledo's
I don't have
winning
any of these. All right. I'll go with you guys.
I
Toledo.
got Houston winning the American.
I have Memphis winning the American.
Give me Wichita State.
Oh, they're
love
bad,
those
dude. They're really terrible.
The Big Ten, I'm going to start with the opening statement of Wisconsin everything up by blowing a game against the... Yeah, Alex.
F word.
My one wish for this season of basketball, because Michigan is not meeting their preseason expectations, was to get revenge on Wisconsin on the court, not with head slaps. And they blew a game against Nebraska. And then Iowa missed 12 plus free throws to lose to Illinois. And some are saying the Big Ten, and Evan floated this out there too, it was a conspiracy theory for they did not want the hostility between Wisconsin and Michigan so soon. So I'll buy into that theory. I have no other explanation for Wisconsin losing to Nebraska. I know Johnny Davis got injured. They were playing terrible before that. So it's pretty embarrassing for them to duck us like that. As a team who was accused of ducking other teams early in the season, I get how it feels. It feels bad. But nevertheless, let's get into what we're thinking here. You guys can throw a little teasers of how you think your individual team is going to do as you make your pick as well, just because I know we talked about their past week, but not how we think this is going to turn out for them.
I just think it's interesting. Everyone says Vegas knows. Michigan State is the third best odds to win the Big Ten tournament on the website I'm on.
Got to feel good.
I don't like that.
Injury update. Grants Medical Center. Johnny Davis ankle injury expected to play.
He's playing.
Ankle.
Expected.
Sprained ankle.
Was in a
Is that
boot.
Confirmed.
A little walking boot.
Should be good to go.
I had a medical expert at my house earlier saying he doesn't think it's that serious. He thinks it's just a back. Take that with a grain of
I
salt.
saw sprained ankle.
Hurt his back.
I believe it's a sprained ankle. That was totally.
He's going to play banged up.
That was totally of him
regardless.
watching the game probably for like 30 seconds and he saw it happen. So
Love it.
take it with a grain of salt.
For my team, I'd be devastated if they lost to Indiana because I think Indiana is cheeks. I already said that. And then I'm fully expecting Michigan to extend their Juwan Howard record against Illinois to 0-6 instead of 0-5. So Friday exit for the boys in blue, most likely. If they beat Illinois, it's hard to beat a team 6 times in a row under one coach. It'd be sweet. And then if they win that game, there's a real chance they're in the finals because then you're going to get Iowa Rutgers winner. So not bad there. So you guys are going to be in the finals. Let's just cut to the chase. If you're not in the finals, it's a disappointment.
I'd like semifinals.
I'm just going to start that narrative. That's how you set the bar high, Evan. I just say it and say it first. The way this was set up, rigged for Michigan State, rigged for Sparty. Tom Izzo's 663 wins. They want to get going. They want a 7th seed Michigan State to win this, get hot, go to the Final Four. It all starts in Indianapolis. Evan's going to see it in person. Maryland's dead. Wisconsin is injured across the board. You'll lose to Purdue. I just changed my mind.
Website are you on this? Says we're the third highest.
Vegas Insider.
He's living in a fantasy land. There's no chance that's true.
We're 8th,
Vegas.
bro.
Vegas Insider has Purdue plus 290, Illinois plus 320, Michigan State plus 425.
Alex is living in a fantasy land.
I'm not living in a fantasy land. I'm reading this website right in front of me. 5 hours ago it was posted.
Both you guys got Michigan State winning this thing?
No, I don't. I have Michigan State beating Maryland. Squeaker. It's going to be another. It's going to be like we're not going to win by double digits against Maryland on Thursday. Just get that through your head. Prepare like your health condition and like your mental state. Like it's going to be a down to the wire. Like we played at Maryland. I do like us matching up with Wisconsin. Play them twice, split. We both won away, surprisingly. But I do like that matchup. So I have us upsetting Wisconsin. I don't know why Johnny Davis would play. I get it. He's competitive nature, but I think Wisconsin needs to see big picture here. Yeah, it might hurt them seeding, but big picture, they have a chance to go far in the tournament with a fully healthy Johnny Davis. If they force him to play, I think it would be stupid of them because Big Ten tournament doesn't really mean anything to a team that already is in the tournament. Purdue, it's going to be a home crowd for Purdue. And Jaden Ivey will not play as bad as he did in the Breslin Center. I feel like he would go for like 30 points against us, so I like Purdue's matchup in the second time against us. So semis.
I think semis.
To winning it all, I have Illinois winning it all. If that means anything.
Wow.
Well, part of me thinks if Ohio State's healthy for this Big Ten tournament, they'll beat Purdue. Michigan State will get to play Ohio State after they beat Wisconsin. Michigan State will beat Ohio State. This is the dream scenario. They'll waltz into the finals, and they're going to play the Iowa Hawkeyes because they're going to beat Illinois after just losing by only a couple.
Alex, you realize if we play Iowa,
and we will lose.
Yes, they would start 10 for 10.
And Iowa will win the Big Ten
range.
tournament in a dream scenario of mine. What I realistically think will happen is Purdue handles the Big Ten and wins.
There's only 3 teams that can win this tournament: Purdue, Illinois, and Iowa. Iowa, Fran McCaffrey stinks in the Big Ten tournament. I'm pretty sure I heard someone say on a different podcast he's won 1 Big Ten tournament game in his career.
Well,
Boo.
They beat Michigan State in the semifinal once, so they've had to win more than one.
Okay. Moving on. Illinois won last year. Hard to win 2 years in a row. It's tough to do. And they also creamed their jeans at the fact that they finally won a regular season title since when I was in diapers. So
As they should cream their jeans for that.
Yeah. Shared titles. Purdue. Revenge factor. Should have won the Big Ten this year. Most talented team. 4 buzzer beaters against you. To lose out on it, that's really tough. That would keep me up at night. Matt Painter has a chance to vengeance, all of those sins. It's Purdue. It's always been Purdue. It's Purdue.
Purdue, Iowa final.
Masterclass.
That's what I got.
It would be interesting if it was Purdue, Illinois, because Purdue beat them twice in the regular season, so tough to beat a team 3 times. So that would be interesting from that perspective.
Are burying Rutgers and then burying Illinois.
I'd love to see Rutgers win it all. That would be my dream pick if I couldn't pick my own team. I'd love to see Rutgers win it all.
I saw a prediction today that the winner of Northwestern Nebraska is going to beat Iowa, and it's going to be the conference tournament shocker.
Really possible. Both those. Well, Nebraska's playing good ball.
Nebraska's dangerous right now. They're undefeated in March.
Well, there you have it, guys. Get ready to get those receipts up when.
Well, Evan, who's
I hope
your
we at
winner?
least win a few of them. Illinois, he said.
Oh, Bradley Underwood.
They got
Bradley
their
Martin
guards
Underwood.
is the reason why I picked them.
Trent Frazier did not hit the kill shots yesterday in a stunning development, and they still won.
The Detroit Lions free agency period. Tampering has begun with this podcast.
Yep.
We're going to lure or not lure people to Detroit. I wrote down 2 bullet points to try to think about how we want to do this. Guys you'd like to add or love to add. Guys you'd hate to add or don't want to add. Anyone want to go first?
I will go first. Somebody I do not want wearing the Honolulu blue next year is Amari Cooper. You can't say that. He's the best free agent. Nope, here's the reason. He's a diva, and he's selfish. I don't want him, and he's going to cost way too much. We're still in a rebuild mode, and I don't think he will fit in with the whole buy-in to the hard hat, bring your lunch pail to work every day with Dan Talica. Everyone's like, but he'll fix our free agent, our wide receiver room. No, there's other ways to fix the wide receiver room. You don't just go out there and get the best car and say, yes, I am now rich. There's other ways to do it.
Okay.
Agreed with you, 100%. Great start to that. And you touched on the rebuild factor, and that's a big reason why there's not many free agents out there that I'd love to add. It's more of cautioning against spending up on guys that are closer to 30, because I know at some point you got to sign veterans to, complete your locker room. The Pistons are going to have to do the same thing at some point. But right now, without having the quarterback, I don't want to be splurging on guys that are, 30 years old. And there's a lot of old guys in this top of this free agency class that I don't want, especially at wide receiver. So I will also echo that with the big names of Chris Godwin and whatnot. I don't want him either. I don't want him on my team. Mike Williams, I don't want him on my team.
Chris Godwin's 26.
I like all these guys. They're great guys.
You just said you don't want 30-year-olds, and
team.
then you just said you didn't want a 26-year-old. And then Mike Williams is 27.
Chris Godwin has one.
Thanks for keeping me honest. I just also don't want him on my team.
All right.
Too much money.
I'll say 2 guys that I would like on the team. Marcus Williams, safety, 26, fits the rebuild, very talented. Need help in the secondary. And then also another 26-year-old, an edge rusher, Harold Landry. I would like him as
Harold
well.
Landry. That was on my guys I'd like to add. I'll backpack on
Be
there.
careful there. He might get franchise tagged here. Within the
As of today, he hasn't been.
Correct. 4
Well, then,
hour
Evan,
deadline tomorrow.
We'll be sad.
Yes,
but
he would be nice.
Jesse
As we should have
Bates
drafted
did,
him.
so.
We should have drafted him to begin with, way back when. Somebody I would like to add, yes, this is going to go completely against what I was just saying, but I honestly would like to add Allen Robinson.
Wow.
Productive player last year. It was a firestorm in the cornerback room, firestorm as a head coach. He's had over 1,000 yards in every season before that. Bigger body target. And if you draft somebody there, yes, the draft wide receiver is like out of bounds, but you can assess other positions of need in the draft. And he's a hometown kid. And have you ever heard anything bad about Allen Robinson in the news?
Not really.
So
No.
he's not a problem in the locker room, and I don't think he would be a problem here.
Evan, I don't hate it. My inner brain tells me it's not worth the money of dropping it on him, but I can promise you this. If we do sign him, no one will run to YouTube to watch his highlights from the glory years before this last one faster than I will. So I will talk myself into it. I think just how his last year went, and I know the Chicago Bears coaching staff was a dumpster fire, and also mixed with our swing and misses on Tyrell Williams and Perriman, I'd be really nervous to dip our toes back into that market. But it sounds like we're going to, based on rumor mills. So I have a different receiver, but I want to get Alex's thoughts on Allen Robinson first.
I also have a different receiver that I'd prefer over him. But if we signed him, I wouldn't be mad. I know that when he was in Chicago the last few years, he didn't want to be there and actively asked to leave, and they just like held on to him. So I'm guessing he wasn't. It's like a Odell type situation where it's just like he has no interest in playing for them. So I'm assuming wherever he goes, he will be good again. But he is a little older. What is he, 29? Is that what he is? 28, 29?
Probably the guy they were
29?
talking about in that meeting.
He's 29, so he doesn't quite fit the rebuild, but I would not be that mad if we did. It's a cool name. I can get behind
But
it.
the risk there is massive because if you give him a big contract and he sucks,
I would like to see how much. I mean, I don't know what he's
going
going
to
to
start
cost.
scratching my head. If I'm Brad Holmes, unless I'm super confident, which I guess you have to be a GM, I'd be really nervous to do that because that is a quick way to just make everyone hate you and just say Brad Holmes word association, Allen Robinson bust. And you're like, okay, well that was the lasting legacy of his tenure.
So who's your receiver, Grant?
DJ Chark. You guys know this. Texted about it. I love like the model of our friend. I always forget Troy Weaver. I always forget his name.
Good friend.
High talent, high upside. Has battled some injuries, but he's a star, and he's stuck in Jacksonville. And I'm not saying Detroit's some paradise, but we have a role for him, and we have a gunsling QB named Jared Goff. We need an outside threat, and DJ Chark athleticism is unbelievable in that like fancy RAS relative athletic score charts that they use for the combine. He's like a freak, an absolute freak. And I had him on fantasy once, and he was really good for me. So that also boosts him high in my book. And he'll be cheaper. He'll be much cheaper. $12 million a year. He'll be paid around like where Corey Davis, Tim Patrick are. Like we're not spending a bag. We're not going to 17 to 18 million. We're hovering around 11.
He torn his
12.
ACL twice now.
That feels like way too many. No. Vehemently deny. Jabril Peppers, safety.
I
for the
have
Lions. Evan, no way.
I don't hate
no
it.
way,
It's
Evan.
just position. It feels the position in need. I would hate all the Michigan fans saying that he would win like a Pro Bowl or something here. But it fills a position of need, and he's probably going to be on the cheaper end. He's had some injury history.
There
Peppers and Hutchinson.
There are some rumors that Jabril is a Lions target.
Dude, that would be kind of sick because I love Marcus Williams. I shouldn't say that. I don't really see him play. I don't notice him, but everyone tells me he's great.
He is
It makes
a good
me,
player.
When I went to Spot Rack for the salary breakdowns of free agents, when I looked at the teams who dropped bags on safeties, it was alarming. They weren't that good. They like most of them missed the playoffs. So I get a little nervous. Because think about this. Our free agency, our big re-sign is going to be Tracy Walker. You know, like that's where we're spending our money if we're keeping someone. To go get another safety instead of drafting one feels a little aggressive.
Well, I got two receivers that are coming off injuries. So a little bit of a risk, but their price should dip.
Both off injuries? I was going to do a on three because I think we might be thinking of the same one. That's
You guys can guess.
Cut. Cedric Wilson.
No.
I like him a lot.
Just
Same team.
receiver.
Michael Gallup.
Yeah, he's buried on the
Michael Gallup's
Cowboys
getting
depth
re-signed
chart.
with the Cowboys. They're in the works of
Yeah,
finalizing.
I think we should take Cedric Wilson.
That's okay.
I do.
Then there's another guy that's, going to get slept on because of his last couple seasons have not been very good because of injuries. But I think the kid is very talented. And, he went to the same school as Amon St. Brown. Juju Smith-Schuster. He's 25 years old.
Nope.
He's
Get him away from my line.
25, and he's going to demand
I don't care.
no money.
I don't know. No, dude.
He's going to be a 1-year deal.
I just bit my tongue there. That's a sign of growth. I don't like Juju Smith-Schuster. He fits similarly to who did we talk about off the rip of this? Amari Cooper. I don't want him in my locker room. Not a Dan Campbell guy.
I think it's
Too much dancing.
A 1-year, $7 million deal seems pretty attractive to me.
What's the point of
I'd
hiring
rather have
somebody
DJ
for
Chark.
1 year, though?
Because if he plays really well, you can re-sign him.
Ooh, Mo Alley Cox.
Wait, he's just going to go somewhere bigger if he plays well here. He might as well sign him to a long term, like a 3-year
All right,
deal.
Christian Kirk, 25 years old.
I like the
No.
player.
Nope.
I like the player.
Steps on our best receiver's toes. He's only good in the slot. We already have a slot receiver. Nope.
Cordero Patterson,
No, he's going to get it back somewhere else.
too old. He's
I
31
do like
years
OJ Howard. I think we need to address the tight end room, and I don't know if drafting one would do that. Because now if you're drafting one, you're taking away a pick from other position of needs. And I think like if you could sign like a decent tight end, it would benefit the team more. Yes, I know. Hey, everyone. Yes, TJ Hawkinson's still on the roster. I get that. But now with like the spread formations, there's nothing wrong with having another pass catcher.
I don't know how old this guy is. I agree with that. I do think we need a better tight end than
David Njoku.
the shots we've taken. How old is this guy? He's 25. Sleeper pick. I just remember seeing him from doing some games of theirs. Justin Reed, a safety from the Houston Texans, would not be bad. He'd be about $7 million, and I think that'd be a good safety for us. That's a deep, deep cut.
Okay. I don't know who he is. So
Anyone else I'm seeing? I mean, I'm in the 80s right now on the rankings.
Yeah, so
that's what we're gonna live is just in that range.
how about Chase Edmonds on a 1-year baby deal to be with DeAndre Swift? I love Chase Edmonds.
We have to get rid of Jamal Williams then.
Yeah,
If that happens, then
I'm
sure.
cool with that.
I saw
I'm not
one
seeing anyone
article,
crazy sticking out.
I saw one article link us to what if we want to go after BJ Hill from the Bengals. I don't hate that. He's 25.8 years old.
I feel
What
like
about
unfortunately this team needs to
interior?
still address the defensive tackle position. I think Brockers is probably going to get cut, unfortunately. Just in a salary cap situation, saving money here. Trey Flowers should have been cut last year or 2 years ago.
He's getting cut. He has
The only
to.
bad thing
Ooh,
with
Fatu-
him is that he has so much
Fatu
cap
Pass.
hit where at some point, like dead cap, if you do cut him, you might as well just keep him to get something out of him to that certain extent, but you do save some money if you do cut him.
I like Fatu Kasi from the Jets.
The
We're going to throw out
Jets.
interior defensive lineman. That guy's always caught my eye when he plays, and he's got a sweet name. That's probably why I remember him. I don't know how to pronounce his first name. And I think he has a brother that plays at Rutgers. Really deep cuts right now.
What about Marquez Valdez-Scantling?
No.
No, I'd
just-
rather take St. Brown from him too. I'd rather take
Might as well just-
Equinemius.
Might as well just
I don't
light
like
money on fire
Equinemius.
if you're doing that.
Why? We had Geronimo Allison. He hasn't played in 2 years because he sat out for COVID, and this year he was like, yeah, you know what?
I got a cheaper safety if we wanted one.
Do it. Lay it on me.
Whitehead from the Bucks played at Pitt.
Ooh, caught my eye. Read about him.
He's pretty good.
Doesn't cover at all. He just blinds up
hits
in the
hard.
box
Well,
in
we do
blitzes
need a
and
coverage corner because Tracy Walker's more of a tackling guy.
Yeah, I guess that wouldn't be a great fit.
I read that his style of play is quickly fading out in today's pass-heavy NFL, and he's just kind of,
What I'm
flowing
reading is
around there
he
and-
covers well for his safety while delivering punishing hits.
Age, Alex? Age?
different
25.
different write-ups. Different write-ups, but I don't hate it.
Dependable as a starter for 4 seasons on a Super Bowl roster.
I'll take Winfield instead.
I don't think he's available.
Nope, he is in
says
his
no?
second year.
Marcus May's a good safety from the-
with DeAndre Swift.
No. Marcus May is a good safety from the Jets.
No, he's old.
He's 28.
That's old. We're looking in the 26 and below range.
Says who? You're not Brad Holmes.
All right, fine. Let's get an old D tackle that we know is good. Ndamukong Suh.
No.
35.
I think that I would just be like guessing here, but I think that wraps up my thoughts on it. I guess obviously when we actually do stuff, we'll react to that. And if it's Amari Cooper, you might want to just go ahead and subscribe now for that fire takes from Evan if that happens.
I'll get behind it.
All right. Listener cues. Some faster ones, some ones we're gonna have to dive into a little bit deeper here. I numbered them so I try to group them in categories that made more sense to start. So the first part's going to be more getting to know us based on questions that people asked. First question is, how long have the three of us been friends? Alex, you have the best memory.
Evan and I have been friends since birth, and Grant and I have been friends since we were 5 years old. We all were in the same kindergarten class at age 5.
We were all in Miss Griffiths?
Griffin.
Griffin? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was my first thought. That's probably when we all met each other. So,
well, I met Evan before that, but yes.
And then since then.
Kind of.
So, yeah, when we get mean at each other, it's not like we actually hate each other. Sometimes we probably hate each other. 2, what are your majors and or jobs? What do you do outside of the podcast? And any advice for someone looking to start one? 3 question marks.
You want me to go first?
Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was a finance major at MSU, and I work in finance. Pretty standard.
Any advice?
I went.
Any advice for starting a podcast? Is that what the question was?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just, get 2 people or another person to talk about something you like and just do it. It's not very difficult. It's way easier than you would think.
Breaking news. Isaiah Stewart, center for the Pistons, knee will not return versus the Hawks.
Oh.
But what Alex said.
Just
don't force it.
Just get
after it. If you want to
it.
do it. My also advice, well, no, you could do it with 2 people, but I will say it's a little background on this show, is Alex and I had wanted to do a podcast for a while, and Evan had too. Just the 3 of us were terrible communicators and didn't really talk about doing it or
communicate better with your friends.
We needed to be older to all right, yeah, let's actually do this and be in a spot where we could. And Alex and I would try some 2-person shows, and they were so bad. I wouldn't even make my worst enemy listen to them. They were so awkward, didn't flow, too many dead spots. So I think it depends on the friend group, obviously, or if they're coworkers. I think 3 is a pretty good number.
Also depends what you're in. You need to have know what you're going to want to talk about too.
Yep. For myself, my major sports media at Butler University. Job, my title is a content editor for a sports website. So I basically just edit a website all day, post on social media, make graphics, whatnot. Do some stats work for football sometimes as well, but that's more seasonal. And any advice? I would say the biggest piece of advice is before you start, it might seem like too much planning, but basically lock down how much you want to do this and commit to meeting that schedule for at least 6 months or so. Because I think the biggest thing with podcasts, at least for me when I listen to them, if someone doesn't post for a while, I kind of forget about their show. And you want the people that listen to you to know like our show, it's coming out once a week pretty much, unless we announce it's not, we can't. So they know it's coming out once a week. We're not the most consistent, with each day it drops. Sometimes ours drop Tuesday, sometimes Wednesday. But for the most part, if you follow this podcast, it's coming out once a week. I would say that's the big advice too.
Major, kinesiology major, still there. More personal training, exercise science field. Biggest advice, I would say just stick with it, and who cares about what people are saying that you're doing a podcast. You're going to get some supporters. You're going to get some people to laugh at you, be like, why are you doing that? But if you truly just enjoy talking, you're going to find the fans. And then just nowadays, pick up on your social media. Grant does a fantastic job. And so if one of you are good at it, that's where you can draw more fans in. So pick up social media and then stay with it no matter what.
It definitely helps that Grant is, his real life job is, similar to the job he does with this.
Hey, thanks, guys.
So thanks, Grant. Great job,
Grant.
man.
Number 3, basketball. So these are still about us, but basketball related due to March. Who would win in a 3-point contest out of the podcast members? We'll define contests as how the All-Star Weekend works in the NBA. That kind of format. Who is winning between us? Let's do old school, not with all the stupid double your points balls and Mountain Dew balls. Just like good old-fashioned 5 balls on a rack around the spots. Who's winning?
Is this in our current form? Like we're shooting today?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We get to go into a gym and warm up for like 20 minutes.
What do you guys think?
I mean, I like my chances, but it also like.
I mean, I honestly think we all think we would win.
Yes, yeah. Then I can see all of us each lose like pretty badly.
I really think it depends on the day for like all of us. Sometimes we shoot the lights out of a gym, and the next day we probably shoot 1 for 20. So I think any of us could win. I don't think there's like a clear winner.
All of us are inconsistent enough where we could lose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Number 4, basketball related again. Who would win 1-on-1 overall between you 3?
Grant, because he's the tallest and has, the length.
I was blessed with height. I like my chances in a 1-on-1 format.
I think I could grab a win at some point.
But also, if you guys got hot from 3, I'd lose because that's the nature of 1-on-1 sometimes.
I don't think any of us would dominate either. I think it's very similar, but Grant does have a small advantage.
Alex, I beat you like 10 games in a row on 1-on-1 once. I know this was like 5 years ago, but
never forget.
Playing sports against Grant isn't really fun. I also just like stopped trying after it's like 3-0 because Grant's just a psychotic competitor. So that also is.
I'm also a competitive freak. Evan, you versus Alex, who's winning that matchup?
I like my chances a lot. Alex got the height.
You know what's gonna happen?
Alex got the height on me though. I do play a lot of 1-on-1 still today. I have my competition, play a lot of 21. So I'm still in the basketball game.
We are back in it now. So
I get that.
I need to go 5-on-5 sometime. I do all this like shooting and stuff. I need to test it out in the game.
5-on-5 will humble you. How well you are in shape, like cardiovascular wise, not like muscular wise. Yeah. It will humble you fast.
It is tiring. The court at the Y is pretty small, so that's going to help for sure when I finally do. 5th question: dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Dogs all day, every day. I hate cats.
Not close. Yeah.
Agreed. This is a runaway.
Sorry to the cat haters or cat lovers.
And honestly, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say mean things about cat lovers. I won't do it.
I've had several cats. I don't like them.
Them cats. Not your cats in general. Well, I guess that also means your cats.
Oh my God, there is a juicy question number 9.
Did I not?
Oh, wow.
Did I not mark you guys seen this? I did not mark a 6. Did I just a little dyslexia here?
I see 11, 3, 4, 9, 10, 2, 5, 8, 7. So it's just all over the place.
Yep.
So 7. And this, that's why I made this one 7 because it's advice, but it's also getting to know more about us as well. So 2-part question here for the boys. We'll just do the first part first. Who was the most popular between us when we were in high school?
I think we were all in the same friend group, so it was all the same.
I was going to say that, like, not to bullshit or just take the easy road. I think it'd be like this. If you asked people that we went to high school with, they'd say, yeah, those are basically.
If I was going to give an answer that isn't all 3 of us, I would say Evan talked to more people than me and you.
Evan had a wide range.
He had a bigger range of friends. So, and Evan also won Homecoming King or Tickwas King?
Tickwas.
So
Tickwas King. Yeah.
That counts for something. I was on it once. I didn't win, and Grant was on it once, I think, too.
Yep, didn't win.
So, Evan, congratulations.
Not to brag, was
Stats
on it back-to-back. Was on it Homecoming Court, didn't win it. Redemption, Tickwas.
There's our answer.
But yes, we were all the same friend group, kind of all hung out together.
Evan rigged the vote.
Yeah. I won't say one was more popular than the other.
And then leading into that, in this case, guy's scenario, I wonder if that means he's popular, trying to read into this. He's asking, should he focus...
That is a random question for his next question.
Should he focus on the social aspect of high school or the sports aspect? His senior year's coming up. He's currently a junior at Dexter. Hopefully that doesn't expose
Go Dreadnoughts.
He's good. Shout out Phil Jacobs. He's good at sports with a couple lower level NAIA offers and passionate about it, but wants to make sure he has a good balance. Any advice would be sweet.
We don't know if this is a guy or a girl.
Correct. There would be nothing there to indicate.
I wish the sport was mentioned.
That, yeah. Are we going to sport shame?
No.
If you're sick at swimming, NAIA, just give it up. Is that what we're saying?
You got to think about your long-term future, Grant.
I think, and like, God, this is a really tough one because my gut was like, live it up and go social. But when Alex and I have had late night conversations about if we could restart our life from this age or younger, we always say like we would just go balls to the wall with athletics and try to make it to a decently big college. And now this person is saying they're NAIA. And I know it's late in the recruiting cycle because recruiting, you're usually recruited fully out by your junior year. But you could like devote the next year of your life to getting absolutely sweet at your sport, like the best you can. And then maybe go to your first school or pick up a late offer. And even if you go NAIA transfer, I kind of feel like you should just go, 80-20 sport. I think you should go for it.
I think,
because this.
Do you have anything else? Sorry, I thought you were done.
No, that's pretty much it. I was thinking about how that could backfire, though, because if you go all out and you don't have a good social aspect in college, it might suffer. But I think you're going to have a good social aspect in college if you're a pretty good athlete at your sport. That's typically how that formula flows.
I think most of your memories in high school are sports related. At least that's how it is for most of me and my friends. We talk about our high school sports moments all the time still. So you definitely still want to be good at that and still commit to that. But if you're like, halfway, I don't know how many sports you play. You could play 3 sports. If there's some sports that you're not as good at, you should still play them, but you probably don't need to go balls to the wall in those seasons. But in the season of your main sport with the NAI offers, you should just give it your all, and you're not going to miss out on much by practicing during the week. It's not like kids are like hanging out and doing a bunch of stuff during the week. At least I don't know. I always had practice, and so were Grant and Evan. So I don't really know what else you would be doing. So I would just, commit to it. If you like sports and you said you're passionate about it, there's no harm in like committing to it. As long as you don't just like block everyone out and not talk to any of your friends. But I assume all your friends probably play sports.
100% play sports. The best memories can be made from sports. Don't give it up. Especially in high school. Don't give it up in high school because you regret it for the rest of your life. The whole like where you want to go afterwards, if you want to play low level or you want just like a regular college route, I would say don't get distracted in what other people are doing. I didn't go to a 4-year university right away. Just whatever you do, be confident in it and be happy with what you did. You don't have to live up the main movie or social media aspect of college. As long as you're happy where you're at, you're always going to find friends. You're always going to find something new in life that takes up your time. I would say that.
Also, if you want to go to a lower level school and you're like and play sports, but you're afraid you're going to miss out on like the aspects of a big school, like parties and all that. I'm sure you can have friends there and you can just go visit. That's what Evan did for 2 years. So, you can totally do that. And there's no shame in that.
If you get really good at your sport, and even if you're going to an Adrian College, a Hope College, great colleges, you're going to have a fun time socially as well. Like, it's all going to like go.
You're still going to have
hand
fun.
in hand.
You'll have you'll make a bunch of new friends.
And when
there's a lot of benefits from playing at athletics in college.
Yes, in smaller schools, you almost make more friends just because it's a more like tight-knit community with other athletes and other like students.
I think college is when you need to make this real decision. I think right now is keep going hard in sports. You get to college and you're looking around.
No reason to take the foot off the gas.
You're looking around in college and you're like, you see the other college athletes at that level and you're like, man, I'm not even like better than these guys. Like, how much work would it take for me to get to like a D1 level? Like, would it be too much? Then you just like have some fun socially and like make the most of it.
Also,
that's what I would say.
You're a junior right now, so you're probably like 17. Can't really do a bunch of like crazy social stuff at that age technically, so you don't want to do anything like that, like drinking anyways, because that's not gonna be good.
Yeah, you never did that, Alex.
I would just go. You have like people might think you're weirdo, but those want to get to a big level of, are looked at as weird, just have at least like one day per week, probably a weekend, like a Friday night or Saturday, where you just like totally decompress and if have fun, whatever way that is. Unless you're hurting other people, don't do that.
Yeah, I agree.
Another high school one, another one that ties into us. I like how people are just like unloading their stuff on us and then also asking about ourselves. It kind of nice, you know, like, okay, like now you tell me about yours.
Which one is
this? Person says, number 8, my biggest high school regret was dating the same girl all 4 years. Parentheses, we obviously broke up once we got to college. What are your biggest regrets from high school? First of all, pour one out. That sucks. But good learning experience.
That does.
Good learning experience. What are ours? Well, mine is
in life or just
high
school?
High school.
High school? My perfect tie-in to our last question with sports is that I played basketball my freshman year and then didn't play my rest of 3 years. And I would have liked, because I like basketball, just focus on other things like other sports. It'd be better to play. I would have liked playing all 3 sports, including basketball, as my regret. So I do regret not playing all of the other 3 years.
Anything else?
No.
Only regret. Wow.
Well, I don't have multiple lined up, but that one came to the top of my head.
I don't have any like large high school regrets. Mine's similar to Grant's. I wanted to play football after I played my freshman year. Kind of got injured. My mom really didn't want me to play anymore. My junior year, I considered playing again, but I never ended up doing it. Wish I would have done that because my friends talk about football like at least once a month when we're all together. It gets brought up, and it's like, wow, yeah, I wasn't really there for that. But I basically was now because I've heard every story 1,000 times. So I'd say that's my only like sports regret.
You played in the Eaton Rapids game at this point.
Basically, yeah. I was on the onside kick.
Biggest regret. There's just a bunch of like small things.
I have some that just sparked my.
There's a lot of small like personal things that I don't know who listens to this. I would just say don't care what other people think of you, and like don't be afraid to like try something new or go for it, like gut reaction. Don't be afraid of a no answer or what's going to happen next. I would say there's a lot of those regrets that I had, like, oh, I didn't say something or I didn't try something because I was afraid what other people would think, or I was afraid of like a no answer. But when in doubt, when you look back at it, like now we're 7 years removed from senior year, like it would have been just funny now.
Yeah.
So
I agree. Don't care what people think as much. I mean, you're going to naturally care a little bit,
yeah,
but don't care too much. And the only other thing that I regret is I didn't apply myself probably enough in everything, probably because I was, 16 to 18. I thought I knew everything. And so I didn't try super hard in off seasons for sports. I didn't try in school very hard. I did fine in school, but like I did my homework last second, all that other stuff. So then when I got to college and for studying and all that, had no idea what I was doing, and it went drastically terrible to start. So maybe I could have applied myself a little more in just like everything.
Biggest regret, just do your homework, just get it done, like any way possible. Unlike Alex, I was not very good at homework in some classes. Senior year, I took 2 gym classes on purpose, so that's where I was at academically, if you can guess. Just do your homework. Don't be an idiot. Be better than me. I should say that.
Biggest regret.
Oh man.
Could you imagine?
If you left that in
You gotta leave that.
And just bleep over it.
Biggest regret, I didn't just like feel like
biggest regret.
Yeah, you can't put that in.
Whoever wrote that in, if you want to know what those bleeps were about, somehow hunt us down.
My DMs are always
Ryan.
open. I'm willing to talk to anyone.
Not anyone.
Ooh, deep one. Number 9. One of the worst feelings in the world. Well, it didn't happen to this person, but the situation. My buddy's girlfriend cheated on him, allegedly. but he doesn't know. It is making its way through rumor circles. Do me and the guys wait and let him find out on his own, or tell him ASAP? He is going to be crushed.
You tell him ASAP, because you're in the situation if you don't tell him, he most likely will be upset if you did know. Honesty sucks. Telling the truth sucks. But you are also his best friend, and so like just telling him out in advance before it circles back to you can only make things worse. Yeah, he's going to be crushed, but I think there's not really that many people better to hear it from than his like best friends.
The right answer is tell them. Tell him.
Yes.
The wrong answer, but you could also do, and I can give you some justification for, is not say anything, let him find out, and then, just be like, oh, I didn't know. Sorry, man. I mean, you could just be that scumbag move and do that if that makes you feel better, because he's probably not going to know that you asked a question on this podcast about it. But realistically, what I would do, I would tell him. And he's probably just going to be like, I don't believe you. Like, you're just trying to like get in between my relationship. That could happen, but you just got to tell him.
What I would do, what I'd like to think I'd do, and it does depend on how well you know Buddy's girlfriend, reach out to her. Say, hey, I heard you're sleeping behind Johnny's back. Johnny's a hypothetical name here. You need to tell him or I'm going to. And if she's like, that's not true,
like
blah, blah,
too.
blah. And if she doesn't, then you have to go to him. And you have to phrase it really smart. The best way to deliver bad news is just quick to the point and then just kind of back away from them and let them process it all. Be like, hey, Johnny, I got to tell you something really bad. Please don't hate the messenger. I think Cindy is cheating on you. Don't know if it's true. It's just what I heard.
Yeah, which is not going to go well because the person's going to get super defensive and they're going to think that you're...
Because they're in love.
BSing them. Also, I don't
jealous.
I don't know the age of these
up.
people. If this is high school, then it's just not a big deal, and you just he'll get over it. If it's
feels like a big deal,
fiance engagement type of thing, then this is a big problem. So
see if you can get her to do it because she needs to if she's doing it.
Yeah,
let her do the dirty work. If not, then you just do it.
If you're close enough to ask her to do that or ask her about it, I would do that.
Oh, biggest point too. When your buddy, this is for. Well, you're not going to be able... If somehow the guy that's being cheated on hears this, when you confront your girlfriend about this situation, she goes, how did you hear that? Do not sell your buddies under the bus. Just say it doesn't matter how I heard it. Doesn't matter how I heard it. I just know it. Tell me. Because that is... Do not do that. I made that mistake once. Very, very bad idea. Creates a whole can of worms that you don't want to part of.
When did this happen?
I told... Beep, beep, beep. Number 10. Is it weird to ask for a spot at the gym from someone you don't know?
No,
I don't think so.
I would say no.
A guy asked me for a spot the other day.
Do I do this a lot? No, because I'm kind of passive and I can always find other exercises to do. I feel like that can get the similar pump that I'm looking for that day. But it's definitely not weird. I don't feel weird when someone does it at all.
I see it happen a decent amount.
I would say one thing, when you ask somebody to spot you, if they do say yes, let them know like what you're going for, your goal during the rep. Like, yeah, this is maybe my 95 to 80%. I'm looking to get somewhere around the 4 to 5 range. That way they're not shocked if you're like struggling on like the second rep or fifth rep.
Yeah, I would be specific so it's not on your chest or like on the first rep they're like pulling the bar up for you because you don't want that either. So I'd be very specific if you're going to do it. Personally, I never have asked, so I don't know, but it's not weird.
Also, a big part of this is just having a good self-awareness, which is almost unteachable. If the person you're about to ask looks like a standard gym bro, like they know what they're doing, probably fine to ask him. But if it's kind of a weird looking guy that you don't think like this is their first time in the gym, maybe don't put that pressure on him because he might panic and pee his pants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't ask someone that looks like they've never worked out before. I mean, that's probably not going to go well. You should ask someone that is massive and knows what they're doing.
And shout out to that throwback of the Planet Fitness story. Don't be a 50-year-old man and chastise a 20-year-old, basically me, for being on his phone in between sets, and then you also look at your phone in between sets. Let's just not do that.
Also, just don't talk to people at the gym.
Yeah.
Unless you're like friends.
Number 11.
No.
One we forgot from last show. This next football season, can you guys do a live tailgate stream? Would love to see how you guys act outside the show. Could we? I think so. Logistically, that's where I don't know. Like, we probably could. It wouldn't be like, it would not be, you know how we do these every week? It would not be like every week we're going to guarantee it. Maybe like once. Maybe we could do it once a season.
We're not becoming College Game Day, if that's what you mean.
It would be pretty low budget. It'd be like through a cell phone, like on Twitch app or something, like maybe 5 minutes of us like at a tailgate, or maybe we do a little bit more filming at tailgates and then just cut up a video and post it after the game. That could happen, but the whole like us at a desk with handheld microphones, that's probably not going to be happening
until we're huge.
Unless whoever wrote this in knows someone that wants to fund it and sponsor it.
Do we really act different outside the show? Yeah, actually we do.
I don't
I
think
answered
that's
that
what
in my head. They said would love to see how you guys act outside the show.
At a tailgate, yes.
Yeah, we're a little more reckless.
Just think like a mix of like, think of Robert Pattinson as the Batman with James Bond. Like, that's when you run into us, you're like, those are some men.
I would think that if people saw us outside the show at a tailgate with beers flowing, they would think we're the opposite of a man, that we're just children. And we're very
friends
immature.
with us, though.
Yeah.
They'd want to be friends with us for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, I would say
I agree.
the tailgate stream, unlikely, but a vlog from us tailgating would happen. And then if you listen to the podcast, you basically almost know every single weekend where we're going to be at tailgating.
It's very
you
true.
could always try to find us. We have notifications on for our Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff, so you can come say hi to us. But I do expect more vlogs in the future. And we do act differently outside of the show because, trust me, I've stumbled into Spartan Stadium multiple times this year, downing 20 Busch Lights beforehand. So
just please don't hurt anyone when you enter the stadium, Evan. Please.
I've never hurt anybody.
We did try a vlog once for the rivalry game, but we got really
I still have the footage from
it was
that.
kind of just like nonsense. So the thought was there. We thought about this. We just picked the worst day to do it because we got absolutely
We're
blitzed.
not.
Picked the worst time to do it. We should have done it right when
problem
we got
is-
there.
When we consume
Yeah.
beverages, we're not great at using our phones.
No,
We kind of lose the ability to use our phones when drinking.
When I was
but
told,
we don't
hey,
drink,
you have
so
2
there should be
hours
no
before you
problem.
go into the stadium, you have to start drinking. And I said, yes, sir.
It's usually just a shotgun fest right off the jump, so
Yeah.
Yep.
then things get out of hand.
All right, boys. That is 11 questions to learn about us. I think we're all closer as a podcast family after that.
Yeah, Grant.
Another cut.
I
do want to say this. I wrote in all caps, March Madness bracket plug, the baby idea of Evan from last year that came from that brain. It was fun. We won it, so it was very enjoyable for us because we're smarter than all of you.
We are
put our
elite.
brains together. So we will be doing that like a week from basically yesterday.
You'll
so
hear
around
about it on the
Sunday.
next show,
Probably a week
for
from today.
sure.
Probably like Monday. We'll see the bracket. We'll not even think about making it on Sunday because we'll be thinking about how our team's going to get to the Sweet 16. And then we'll say, hey, we should make a bracket on Monday and then put out the link.
I'll make it Sunday. There's no doubt.
It'll be we'll be free to enter. Maybe we'll do some sort of giveaway. Maybe like an Applebee's gift card or something. It'd be pretty sweet. I don't know. $15 Applebee's gift card. Go get like 2
You
drinks.
said Applebee's?
Yeah, doesn't Applebee's sound good?
I like Applebee's.
Yeah. Maybe just a Venmo. Maybe we'll just like Venmo you like.
I mean, it could
$15.
could just be
We'll
a
say
money pool.
Applebee's for Applebee's.
We're just gonna post it on Twitter to our thousands of
Or
followers.
we'll give you a
and
pair
we'll
of
have a lot people
Gillen's
in it.
used underwear.
You know what? I have a pair of shoes I can give away. They're very used and dirty and smell bad. How about that?
Okay. Well, that's just insulting.
How about some Aeropostale body spray to get the ladies?
You know what? That's why that kid from the YMCA stopped you in the streets. Like, you're wearing my cologne.
My
smell
Aeropostale
good,
body
dude.
spray.
Social accounts at Shot of MS everywhere. Clips, graphics, maybe more graphics. I feel like people don't like our clips. How to listen: Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Rate, review, subscribe. George, any Georges out there, just please go give us a review. I'm not gonna give you some spiel today. I'm just gonna tell you go. I've given you everything. I'm standing up. I'm saying dirty things. I'm gonna have to bleep out. We're almost 2 hours deep. George, just go subscribe and leave a review, man. Be awesome.
Jonathan,
Colby.
the one that can't wait for golf to be back. He tried to go out on the 60-degree day. Course was closed, buddy. Sorry, he got dressed up for nothing. Since you got dressed up for nothing, you might as well just go leave us a review. Tell your friends about how good our podcast is.
Johnny boy.
This one goes out to Colby, and you know who you are. Go leave us a review. Just do it. I'm not going to say anything mean. Not going to say anything rude because I'm talking to a real person
business.
right now. Colby,
Wallman.
go
Miss
leave
that
a
guy.
review, and I'll know. And please leave your name in the review so I know you left it.
And keep
Or else.
submitting those questions. Cheers to episode 62. I have one sip left.
Cheers.
Cheers.
To vengeance. I am vengeance.